They're all band kids. I don't know why it always has to be all the band kids. Just be normal, please. Locked in with Amanda. Oh, a fate worse than death, I'm pretty sure. Another story from Amanda, the legbeard I grew up with. And if you missed the previous parts, hey, we got a playlist in the description for you. The landlocked surfer, the secret princess, and owner of the most expensive formal gown in the entire high school. Yeah, she basically bankrupted her family with that, remember? Oh, what a shenanigan. Our freshman year, long before the formal gown incident, the marching band had a lock-in. Like I said, it's always them band kids. If you didn't know, your parents would drop off a bunch of the minors and you'd have a sort of all-night party. Ours took place the next town over in their civic center. I don't know what set Amanda off, but she was a sulky, pouty mess before long. While the rest of us were playing games or reading or napping, Amanda was milling about from room to room, complaining about the entire thing. I mean, I'd tell her to go home, but yeah, you're basically locked in. That's the whole idea. At least try to have a good time. Before long, she started complaining to the chaperones, asking to be let out for a breath of fresh air. She claimed she was feeling sick in a way that she couldn't quite describe, which only fresh air could fix. Stick your head out the window. She didn't want him to call her parents and go home. She just wanted some fresh air. Just give Amanda a cigarette. She'll be right as rain. No, don't do that. She was set up miserably by a cracked window next to a similarly miserable looking chaperone before very long. This break not creating the result she wanted, she rejoined us in the game room, where she sulked in the corner, and everyone ignored her. As you should. Giving her attention is not gonna fix this. Next, she started milling around the people playing foosball, getting in their way, whining about having to be at the lock-in and how miserable it was. They offered to let her play in. She decried foosball as stupid, but kept sorta getting in their way and trying to get anyone to agree with her that the whole thing was dumb and horrible. Then why are you here? I don't understand. Finally, she suddenly sprawled herself across the table, snapping one of the wooden foosball figures in the process. Great, now nobody could play. Thank you so much. Everyone was instantly angry at her, but that apparently wasn't the response that she wanted. She stalked off to the next room to sulk some more. Bro, what is wrong with... How do you become such a miserable human being? I bet she does this at her house too. Just perpetual sad girl hours so she can be not like other girls, you see. A bit of time passes when suddenly the alarm for the building goes off. Oh my god. The chaperones herd us onto the basketball court, and you can quickly figure out that it was the back kitchen fire door being opened that set off the alarm. There was a quick head count, and you can guess who was missing. What an idiot. Amanda's parents were called. Her dad arrived first, her brother and sister in the back seat. They were bleary-eyed and pajamaed. Her dad quickly went from concerned to downright pissed when he realized what it was that Amanda had done. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can file charges against you for pulling a fire alarm or something. But they probably didn't. Amanda gets away with everything. That's why she keeps acting this way. We all had to sit on the floor in a cluster, watched by one chaperone while the rest searched outside for her. A cop was called, and the sight of the cop car was enough to scare Amanda back out of hiding. She'd been across the street, hiding out in the playground. I just don't understand. Why are you like this? What happened? Tears streaming down, she ran back across the street. She was brought into the civic center, and we watched as she sobbed and clung to her sister. Between sobs, she explained that she had only run away as a joke, 'cause everyone was being stupid. She was afraid that she would have to pay for the foosball table, and of course she wanted fresh air, and they wouldn't let her get it, and she was sick, and they just wouldn't let her go home. Bro, everybody wants you to go home at this point, I'm pretty sure. I mean, she might have ruined the entire night in the moment, but it also created some powerful memories and some powerful cringe. The cop was leaving as her mom pulled up, still in her scrubs. A brief talk, and she looked both embarrassed as hell and ready to rip Amanda's head off. Amanda's tears started anew, and she left doing the sort of sob scream that normally only toddlers do. God damn, dude. I'm not saying you should hit your kids. I'm not saying it. I just think it really loud in this moment. After this, we were kept on the basketball court for the rest of the night. The party basically over. They rolled out a TV and played terrible family movies and found some random board games like checkers with half of the pieces missing. Amanda seemed surprised when everyone was angry at her the next day and didn't want to hear about how she was grounded. She just really can't see outside of herself. Run away, hide at the park, and then be like, lol, I was only pretending to be dumb, you guys. You all got trolled. The only person trolled here is you. Your life has become the biggest joke, Amanda. At least we're able to reap some of that delicious, deep-seated cringe from it. But yeah, I still got a lot of questions. Why the hell is she this way? I guess some people are just who they are. No matter how unfortunate that might be. Let's get into another Amanda story and see how that goes right now. Amanda is cut off. From what? Oxygen? Good. I hope so. She's a lot easier to deal with when she's passed out. I'll tell one or two more tales from high school, and then we'll cut to the post-high school age. Basically, that's when Amanda found the internet, and things went downhill really, really fast, as they tend to do on the internet. Which, yeah, I guess that's the part that everyone wants to hear about. So as I said before, Amanda had betrayed her parents' trust and maxed out their credit card. Part of her punishment was that they wouldn't give her any money afterwards for anything. Amanda basically spent the rest of high school not believing that this was true, especially for our junior year fall formal, which I'll tell you guys about in the next story. Amanda really and truly believed that she was getting a brand new car for her 16th birthday. Now, Amanda, we know you're very poor and can barely afford food. That's why we bought you this brand new Porsche.
Oh man, oh my God.
Amanda's parents were firm in telling her that it was not gonna happen, but she really thought that they were just trying to throw her off. She watched too much MTV, My Super Sweet 16 and all this stuff. First of all, we ain't rich, and second of all, if we were, you still don't deserve it. Amanda would clip out pictures of cars and reviews from Consumer Reports and leave them on her dad's desk. Very subtle. When her birthday came and went with no car, Amanda threatened to run away from home. Yeah, and her parents are like Willy Wonka.
Stop, don't come back.
After her 16th birthday, we had to hear constantly how her father kept coaxing her to go out and get a job at the little convenience store down the street. Finally, I pointed out that she was the only one of us without a job, but she would look at me shocked and give us reasons why, obviously, she couldn't be expected to work a part-time job. Yeah, a secret princess can't be expected to work a part-time job. Come on, OP. Summer of that year, the band went for an overnight trip. Yeah, we just saw how that one went. We had plenty of opportunities to do fundraising for months beforehand, but Amanda turned her nose up at all of these opportunities. She particularly complained that they expected her to sell candy bars to a bunch of fat people. I knew it meant a lot for her to go on the trip, So as a last-ditch effort, I convinced her to come along to the car wash. Everyone who participated got an equal share of the money that we raised, and it was usually enough to cover about half the cost of the trip. That said, yeah, it was hard work. Working at the car wash, yeah. And we would wash something like 120 cars in a day. That's impressive. These high school kids, they hustling. Ignore what I said about the band kids. They getting it in.
Oh, and this one time at band camp?
So we would have 4 spots to wash cars, with a few kids assigned to each spot. Oh, that's big brain time. Of course, the morning, they only trickled in and we were just using one spot. Amanda gave up after only a car or two. She complained that we were throwing bubbles and squirting water and that she was getting wet. Please never say that again, Amanda. Then she stalked off and sat on the curb. Bro, how is one human being this determined to fail at everything? I'm amazed. The mid-morning rush hit, and then we were forced to wash 4 cars all at once. We started spraying down the other cars when Amanda screamed. Turns out, even though she was 50 feet away, the runoff from the spray was going downhill to where she was laying down, and she was soaked. That's what you get for laying in the gutter. Honestly, that's where she belongs, though. That's where we put trash. There were tears, complaints to the adults, and she went even further away. Finally, the band director told her that if she didn't participate, then she wasn't gonna get any credit. For the rest of the day, she would reluctantly dab her sponge against the cars, rolling her eyes and sighing. God, I hate her. Everything I said nice in the last episode, I take it back. Then her complaints started, of course, as if they ever stopped. She pointed out how they have machines to do this, and we should just hire some stupid immigrants for the job, not straight-A students like herself. Oh God, she is just despicable. Every line she says. Oh, someone finally told her that she just needed to be quiet for the rest of the time. I don't think she knows how to, OP. Walmart matched half of what we brought in, but they'd only count the $5 per car amount. We also had a jar out marked for tips, which both the people getting their cars done and just folks going to shop would drop money into. The tip jar had, by far, more money. Is Amanda gonna steal the tip jar? Please, please, please don't. Toward the end of the day, Amanda noticed this and started eyeballing the large jar full of bills. Oh my God, she is. We noticed that she was looking at it. Amanda was long since known to be a thief, so we were keeping a close eye on her. Finally, she turned towards everyone working and said, "Do we have to put this toward the trip? Or would it be okay if one of us just took it?" One of us? Gee, I wonder who? Who do you nominate, Amanda? No, Amanda, that's for the trip. And of course, she continued pouting. She did end up going on the trip, but it was because she guilted her grandmother into paying out the balance. Oh, it's just a lot to deal with today, you know? At some point, she's going to meet the consequences of her own actions, and I'm so looking forward to that day when Granny isn't there to bail you out. One of the things about that summer was that I inexplicably had spent the winter growing, a really late growth spurt for a girl. Suddenly I was 3 inches taller, suddenly had a butt, and my bra size had increased. That spring, I found that I basically had no summer clothes that fit well. Sounds to me like it's time for a shopping spree. That's the best part. My mom took me shopping, high five, and we picked up some staple pieces. Meanwhile, I had my first job and had started to drive to the city on my off days. I took up thrift shopping when I went, and I still do it. Man, thrift shops used to be lit as hell until Macklemore made a song about it, and then they realized they could make a bunch of money off it. It's unfortunate. I'll never buy 50-cent pants again, and it breaks my heart. Amanda was in a hotel room with 2 other girls. When she saw that I had new clothes, keeping in mind that this was a 2-day trip, so a total of 3 outfits, she threw a fit. That night, she dumped my suitcase on the balcony. Bro, that's a fight right there. I'm not gonna let that happen. And indeed, it ended up with a huge fight between us, and Amanda had to go and stay in a chaperone's room. We weren't on speaking terms for a while after this, which sucked because our families were still getting together regularly. It also meant that she wasn't hanging out with my friends as much anymore, as I had been her main advocate. That's probably why she felt that she could do this to you and get away with it, OP, and I'm glad that you didn't let her get away with it. Next time I'll tell of the fall formal disaster, when Amanda basically screwed over the last of her goodwill amongst my friends, and then we'll move on to the post-high school years. Maybe a few stories of the weirdness of her childhood. Honestly, this is probably like one of the worst Amanda stories that we've gotten yet. The other stories, I'm like, yeah, it's cringe, but she's not like endlessly hateable, and now I'm like, oh, okay, I see who you really are deep down, and there's no saving you. So even when we get to the child stories, I will unmercifully mock a child. I'm completely okay with that, especially if that child grows up to be Amanda, right? Honestly, I'll probably just do the fall formal story and then we'll be done for the day. I don't know. We'll see how long it is. A lot of these stories are pretty short, so let's roll on through and see how it goes. Amanda's date for fall formal. Oh, that poor unfortunate guy. He did it on a bet or something, right? To recap, Amanda and I had a huge falling out when she dumped my clothing all over the balcony of a hotel. Our shared social group took my side for obvious reasons, and for a few months, Amanda was basically shunned. It should have been forever. Our families got together a few times over the summer, but I wouldn't even look at her because I was still so angry. Yeah, there's no reason for her to do stuff like that. God, why are you this way? That's the question I endlessly ask myself in this saga. The last few weeks before school started, we were at marching band practice though, 4 days a week, rehearsing music and the field show. Amanda and I were in the same section, so suddenly we had to be in close proximity and work together. I got over myself, and while we definitely weren't buddy-buddy anymore, we weren't entirely antagonistic either. And I think what OP means to say by that is that OP wasn't being antagonistic. Amanda, that's just in her nature, okay? That's basically all that she does, is antagonize everybody around her. At some point, she mentioned that over the summer, while none of us were talking to each other, she had joined the soccer club at her mom's request. I was shocked. It was such a healthy move on her part to branch out and try new things. I'm pretty sure she only did it for a boy. From what we know about Amanda, yeah, 90% sure that's the reason. And then, a week or so before school started, she told us that she was dating a guy from soccer club, Fred. Called it. Now, Amanda's history of stalking as the basis of a relationship was well established, so frankly, none of us really believed her. Then, he picked her up from band practice. I was gobsmacked. Fred was fairly normal, pretty popular, a senior with his own car. There were general apologies for not believing her. We all thought that maybe, just maybe, Amanda had really changed. That's a good joke. She started to rather proudly and pointedly plan her fall formal for the year with her new prize date. And of course she would need the dress, a gown, to turn every head towards her in her Cinderella moment. She went to her mom with her big plans and was completely shocked when she was turned down. Remember, this is only 1 year after Amanda had maxed out her parents' credit card buying the previous year's dress, but to Amanda, her spending restriction was contingent somehow on her being single. Well, now that she had a boyfriend, she thought it would be a different story. Just wear the same dress. You paid so much for it. Your parents probably still trying to pay down that credit card debt, so yeah, it's time to recycle the dress. Her parents lined up Amanda with a job. With more than 2 months before the formal, she could save up. But no, she was still above working and refused to go to the interview. This is just self-sabotage is what this is, right? There's something deeply dysfunctional about Amanda within her brain, and I don't know how to fix it. Frankly, she seemed to believe that her parents were bluffing. Somehow, before formal, they would cave and buy her dream dress. All this information, delivered through Amanda, was kind of funny in a really sad sort of way. I mean, around and find out, you know? And so she will. School starts and we notice something odd. Normally, kids dating in class would be holding hands in the hall or get in trouble for kissing or, well, interacting in some sort of way, but Amanda and Fred never seemed to be together. Some of this could be attributed to just not being in the same grade, but even in times when they were in the same place, Amanda would be 5 to 10 feet away from Fred, smiling, but not interacting. Basically almost the same thing she did when she was stalking other dudes. Furthermore, there were rumors that Fred was dating another girl, Heather. So she lied about this too?
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
I had known Amanda since we were in kindergarten, and I had grown up with her. I was concerned, so I basically pulled her aside and asked her what was up. Fred, she said,
Didn't want anyone to know they were together yet.
He said,
Fall formal would be their reveal as a couple.
Until then, she wasn't supposed to say anything about their relationship, and he didn't want to be seen with her. But things were totally great when they were alone. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying any of this. Even as a teen, this struck me as wrong, and I confided in our English teacher. She was concerned too and had a talk with Amanda. Afterwards, Amanda was furious that I had talked to an adult about her relationship. She became just horrible toward me and some of our friends.
We were jealous because she had a boyfriend and they didn't.
While we showed up in our cheap dresses and were alone.
She was gonna be living her dream with her awesome senior boyfriend.
Yeah, you get the idea. I don't know, man. This is just delusion beyond delusion. You're even believing your own lies at this point, Amanda. You need to sit down with a therapist.
Stop it. Get some help.
Suddenly, it was the week before the formal, and Amanda was still without a dress, her parents having stood firm on their spending diet. You see, in a lot of Neckbeard and Legbeard stories, you can blame the parents, but it seems to me like Amanda's parents are doing the best that they can, and Amanda really is just who she is, for whatever reason. I don't know how to cope with all this. Amanda even called my mother, begging her to talk Amanda's parents into relinquishing their rule. She hung up in disgust when my mom recommended that she wear last year's dress again. Yeah, why wouldn't you? You spent so much money on it. I just can't. We started offering her our old formal dresses, but she turned those down as well. If she was gonna wear a used gown, it was going to be the most talked about gown from the previous year. So she called a senior named Kelly and begged her for her old formal dress. Kelly had actually sewn her own dress all 4 years of high school. Damn, Kelly, pretty lit. Get it in. The previous year's dress had been a particular knockout. It was made from a shimmery gold material, high neck with open shoulders, and it had a mermaid bottom. Kelly was a tall girl with amazing curves, and of course, it was tailored within an inch of its life, so it looked like she had Jessica Rabbit proportions. Again, Kelly, get it in. Amanda might have had the most expensive dress, but Kelly's dress was the one that people talked about. It was like straight off of the red carpet. Amanda must have thought that wearing that dress would make everyone talk about her. Amanda wants to be something so bad, but she's never gonna put in the work. It's pathetic. Come on. Do you understand why people are talking about that dress? It's probably not just the dress. Whatever. The day of the formal comes around and Amanda shows up fashionably late. We were all chilling outside the gym and she comes stalking up to us. While technically she was wearing the dress, that dress did not work on Amanda in the least. Kelly was at least 6 inches taller than Amanda and had worn heels. Amanda had on flats, so the dress sort of puddled around her feet like a toddler playing dress up. Oh, it's sad. The height difference meant that the dress bunched up so that her hips were in place, creating a weird tuck and like this pooch that hung out over her stomach. Jesus, you didn't even get it refitted? She's so out of her depth. I don't know what's going on. Amanda first complained that she had to do her own hair. This garnered little sympathy, as the rest of us had done the same. So with a smirk, she asked
if anyone had seen her boyfriend.
None of us had. Amanda flounced off to find him, saying
that she would see us around.
A few moments later, one of our friends comes running out of the gym and tells us that something's up. I walk in and record scratch, there's Fred practically climbing down the throat of Heather. Oh no! Anyway, standing there, shell-shocked, is Amanda. Heartbroken doesn't even begin to describe the expression on her face. I just don't get it. How did she talk herself into believing that they were a thing? She really does have no grip on reality. A few of us who were friends with her swept into action, pulling her away from the crowd. No one deserved that sort of heartbreak to be played out in front of the whole school. We wanted to get her somewhere private. Someone broke into one of the practice rooms by the band room, and we settled her in where she started to sob. We got her a cup of punch and some tissues and just let her break down. There were 5 or 6 of us in there telling her that we were so sorry, that he was a jerk, and that she didn't deserve all that. Bro, I don't think Fred's a jerk. People are just saying this to placate Amanda, right? Fred's sort of the innocent victim in this endless delusion. As Amanda calmed down, we basically said that we would help her out however she wanted. We suggested just hiding out there for a while and that someone could stay there with her or just guard the room so she could be alone. Someone said that we'd leave instead. Go to the movies in our formal wear. Someone else said that we should just ignore him and go out and have a blast dancing as a group because, you know, screw that guy. These friends are so much better than anything that Amanda deserves, you know? Even if Fred has no idea what's going on, probably won't pay attention to anyone dancing in that group, at least they are trying to make Amanda feel a little bit better, whether she actually deserves that or not. Amanda looked around the room at the people helping her and giving suggestions and said,
No, screw you all. I want nothing to do with any of you for the rest of the night. You're all losers.
And then she flounced back to the gym. Bro, let her drown. This is so ludicrous. There's nothing for it. Not a damn thing to fix it, and good. You really want to be that miserable? Then go. Go, Amanda, and wallow. Just wallow in your self-pity. After a shell-shocked moment, we sort of shrugged it off and forgot about her. We made our way back to the gym and took pictures and danced and had fun. It was impossible to ignore the antics of Amanda, even if we weren't interacting with her, however. First, she was following around Fred and Heather. They would slow dance and she would stay behind Heather, rotating with them. You're so weird. You're such a weird little girl. I don't know where you get this. The whole time she was glaring at Fred, her face still snotty and red from crying. That failed, as Fred simply occupied himself groping Heather. Is he complicit? He has to notice. Maybe he thinks that that's just some weird girl that he drove home one time. I don't really know where to place him, but apparently OP doesn't either, so moving on. At some point in the night, Heather and Fred sat down on some chairs to the side of the bleachers, and Amanda sat on the bleachers where she would be staring over them. After a while, she leaned back across 2 rows, arms crossed across her chest. Then she sorta hitched her skirt up to her knees and propped her feet up on the handrail around the bottom of the bleachers, knees shoulder width apart and bent, chin tucked, staring down her chest at them. It must have been the least attractive pose that a human being could ever take. Like being hitched into a sling for a pelvic exam and being really grumpy about it. I mean, does she think she's being like a seductress or something, showing her panties to the whole gym? I'm really confused. Finally, she planted herself in the foyer by the doors, sprawled on the ground, so everyone leaving had to pretty much step over her in order to leave. That is so much, man. Moments like these, I really do miss the high drama of high school, right?
High school is such a serious thing. These problems matter.
I can always tell more high school stories, but it seems like people want me to jump into when she went full Legbeard, so the chronology is about to jump forward a bit in the next episode. Bro, I really don't think that Fred knew what Amanda was on about, you know? He seemed completely unapologetic about the whole situation, and while granted some high school dudes can be like that, a lot of times they also feel the need to make excuses for themselves. Fred did not. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know Amanda exists at all. She's just throwing a little fit and making everything really awkward, and I guess I'd expect nothing less from Amanda, honestly. I am excited to get into the full Legbeard adulting stories, or at least adulting as much as you can during your suspended adolescence. But it's gonna devolve in the next part, I'm pretty sure. So I hope you guys will join me for that. But that's it for today. I appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much. Share the video around. We got links in the description. Lots of links to all my social medias. Discord, TikTok, Twitter, etc. Thank you to my Patreons, my channel members. Y'all are gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful people helping me to stay afloat. I want you guys to join me again tomorrow. Keep yourself safe out there. Wash your hands. And of course, always remember, friends, that you are loved. You are worthy. You definitely, definitely deserve it. And I shall see you then. So until then, my friends, bye-bye.